Mr. Ravi Liyanage is currently the Chief Executive Officer of TVS Lanka Private Limited and holds directorships in Richard Pieris Distributors as well as Arpico Insurance. He was the former chairman of Richard Pieris Arpico Finance and group director of Richard Pieris and Company and chief executive officer, principal officer of Arpico Insurance. Mr. Liyanage holds a Bachelor of Science degree from the University of Colombo and two postgraduate degrees, a Postgraduate Diploma in Marketing from the Chartered Institute of Marketing UK and an MBA from Postgraduate Institute of Management, University of Sri Jayawardhanapura. He is also a Certified Management Accountant from CMA Australia and a Fellow of the Life Underwriting Training Council of USA. He has a very unique combination of being a proven practitioner and an academic. In academia, he has surpassed over 7,000 MBAs from many global universities. He has been awarded with many global and local accolades. Asian Brand Leadership Award from Brand Asia Congress, Marketer of the Year Award from the world's largest professional body for marketing, the Chartered Institute of Marketing UK, Global Brand Leadership Award from Global Brand Congress, and Brand Champion Awards from Sri Lanka Institute of Marketing.
We warmly welcome Mr. Ravi Liyanage to the VIP chamber. When you look back at your childhood and life as a teenager, what was your ambition and was it the same as what you currently are?
Okay, I think let me tell you my childhood dream. My childhood ambition was very pretty much influenced by my parents because I was very fond of my parents as well as vice versa. And my childhood dream was to be a medical doctor. And I missed it by a couple of marks. And then I thought, I still remember I was telling to my mother, I missed the dream of my life. But however, I reshaped my life. And I promised my mother, one day I will hire doctors and show it to my mother. And which I literally did in my, after certain years in my employment as a corporate leader in a couple of organizations. And it is absolutely not the current job that I'm doing as a corporate leader. My childhood and today is pretty much different.
Did you have a role model in life and who had you looked up to for inspiration? Why and how did this person impact your life?
See, in terms of role model, I would rather call it my source of inspiration in my life was my mother. So there can be role models in certain employment. When we enter into employment or corporate life, there have been couple of role models in corporate life, couple of role models in shall I say spiritual life, couple of role models in what is the next in whichever the life milestones had different role models. I won't therefore call them as very carved out person who has influenced my life, but those are like setting an example of various fields and various situations and various events. But if you ask me one role model or one source of inspiration, that was my mother.
What do you believe are the main attributes and values that you used in order to get where you are today?
Again, I'm saying where I am today now is purely because of what I mentioned about my source of inspiration. That's my mother, right? utmost value or utmost single-minded thing where I am today is every time I used to dream big in whatever I do. I was also shameful of myself being a failure. So the thinking big, thinking above everybody is the success that I reached in my life, who I am today.
How do you ensure that you continue to grow and develop as an individual and as a leader?
Okay, so I would. It's rather a very tricky question as well as very unique question. Uh, one need to be if one need to be successful, you need to have that person, a well-rounded person. I would rather reckon as what is it? I'm looking at three perspectives. It's the soul, mind, and body. So if somebody need to be successful, and these three perspectives will have to be successful. The soul, if you look at your spiritual values, your spiritual mindset matters in your journey of life. And if you look at your mind and how you train your mind and structure your mind, especially in a corporate situation where you gather a lot of knowledge, a lot of corporate knowledge, a lot of business knowledge, and that will help to structure your mind in whichever way that you think in corporate decisions. And the body is so important because your health is important. And if you are not healthy enough, your other perspectives are not going to work for you properly. So I would say as a human being more than a corporate leader, and if somebody need to lead a successful life for a human being, so as the corporate leader, so these three perspectives have to be looked into uh, on a parallel, on a simultaneous basis. That is your mind, your body, and your soul. And all these perspectives will have to be developed, and you have to keep very precise and different plans or different times of a given day or given period allocated for these three areas, and then somebody would be a good leader or good corporate leader for that matter.
How do you manage to keep yourself and your team motivated despite challenges and when the ships are down?
Yeah, see, what happens is when the chips are down, that means that this can happen due to many reasons. Number one is it can be due to an environment issue. Now, right now, there is an environment influence for corporates because of COVID-19. Now, this is something beyond your control. And there are certain situations chips can be down due to some controllable thing within your arena, within your business. So whichever it is, when chips are down, when things are not rosy, when things are being difficult, first thing that somebody would look at practically is changing the expectation. So example, changing the expectation. Now when somebody is running a corporate entity like we do, there'll be a lot of pressure from many stakeholders. There are consumers, and the biggest pressure will come when chips are down from your shareholders, those who have or rather invested in your business. And in this scenario, what do? The shareholder expectations might be very high. so that the pressure for the leader to deliver those also will be very high. So when chips are down, one thing that you got to look at is the pressure that you absorb. You might not be able to give it in 100% full to your team, because if you are passing down the total pressure in a difficult situation, you must have the ability to absorb that pressure and release it in a most appropriate way to your team. And you cannot pass down the full pressure to your team, so you must have the leadership to absorb it, and also you also should have the leadership to distribute it in an appropriate manner. So this leads to sometimes redefine your expectations. When chips are down, you as a leader might not go with the same expectations that you have been confronted, so that you might have to redefine the expectations. In other words, redefine your goals, redefine your objectives, and to pass down palatable, doable objectives to your team, and also feel empathy about the situation. And there you share your empathy, and you show your empathy to the team. Look here, it is a difficult situation, right? But we cannot escape, because we are being hired, and you are being hired to perform a certain job. But let's redefine objectives and absorb some of the pressure that you have, and distribute the pressure in an appropriate manner, so that team will continue to perform and continue to work towards the common goal. So this is what I reckon, that somebody need to be a good leader, who would not distribute in the same manner, or who you would not even absorb 100% and let team suffer or the business suffer.
As a leader, you must have made thousands of important decisions in your career. Out of them, what is the decision that you think is the best you've made?
Okay, that one decision I have been taking in many situations, and that one decision which I took in my corporate life, that one decision, again I reiterate, that one decision I had taken in many situations. I generally, when I change my career, or when I change my job rather, my decision is to join, every time I love to join sinking ships. Sinking ships meaning the organization profile is coming down. Example, organization either losing market share, losing profits, or losing volumes, and so forth. I love to join this kind of companies, because I am a strong believer. I believe myself that I can turn around size of any company, as well as any industry, which I have proven in my corporate life. So the one decision I have taken is, many times that one decision is joining sinking ships. And in doing that, I turn it around, because that sinking ship, right, cannot be sinking further. And if you are confident, you can turn it around. So that one decision in my career I have taken is, or throughout my career I have taken was, uh, go and go and take the responsibility, take the rings of sinking ships. And to date, all moves that I did in my career have been so successful.
If you are asked to pick 5 words to define what it feels like to be a top business leader, what would you choose?
If you want to be a top business leader, or a CEO, I would say few words that you can define. So number one, that person has to be a very creative person. Next, he has to be very innovative, challenging the status quo. Next, he has to be a leader who can create many followers. And also that person has to has to have a character of being empathetic about other people. And the next one is that person has to be a visionary person who can envision the organization and its future. So the leader, to summarize, he has to be visionary. He has to be also a character with empathy for his team, and he need to be a great innovator, and also he has to be an innovative implementer, and then he has to be a great leader who could create followers.
What advice would you give someone stepping into a leadership position for the first time?
So the leadership position for the first time meaning you're fairly junior in a corporate sector or in an organization, because you're just moving into the stepping stone as a leader. So therefore, if you look at individuals can come from two sources. One is your personal power, the other one is your position power. So if you are getting into leadership position first time, maybe you are a very junior manager or rather junior person in the organization, so you got to get things done from the other colleagues and all that while you are providing leadership to maybe a small team. So the individual's power sources, if you look at position power and personal power, position power will not be so great because you're just coming into a supervisory level, first leadership level. So position power is not that great. But one thing any individual can do is enhancing your personal power. Now, personal power is within you. If you look at 3 individuals, 4 individuals, or group of individuals, you will see those different individuals will have very different personal attributes as very different personal power. This personal power comes from your character, your disposition, or your competency and your knowledge, right? And also the background that you are, or the charisma that you are bringing. So that first time moving into a leadership position, though you don't have much greater position power, one can develop personal power. So somebody might be identified as, okay, this is a great guy because he is having so much of knowledge base behind him. Therefore, I respect as a leader. Or this is a guy who comes from a very respectable background, so that I'm respecting his personal attributes. And this guy is a character of this sort and very acceptable values of the society, so that I'll respect this guy as a person. So junior positions, your position power is not great, but you must work towards enhancing personal power.
What are the qualities that you see in general that are lacking among the today's youth in Sri Lanka for leadership?
See, today's youth, if you look at what I feel is, this is a very personal feeling and personal opinion. Uh, Even in schools, our curriculums are designed in such a way. Schools as well as universities, curriculums are designed in such a way. These curriculums develop. These curriculums are rather developing the how do I say, the knowledge base of an individual, or competencies of an individual, or these curriculums as well as these degrees and diplomas and masters, those will be developed to enhance the knowledge base, and also enhancing somebody to look at a professional qualification or a professional knowledge achievement. So therefore, today's youth are driven by, with liberalization of education, there are many institutes fighting out there to provide this professional plus academic knowledge to our youth. Whilst developing this professional and academic knowledge, what is lacking in today's youth is, again, leadership. So these courses, these degrees, diplomas, masters, all that, by design, that would give the knowledge to perform. But take, for that matter, most of the degrees, diplomas, and masters are not developing people's leadership. And every curriculum, every course, every degree must have an element, a fair chunk of element to develop individuals' leadership in that particular space and in that particular sphere as a leader, together with their knowledge enhancement. So today I see the leadership attribute is lacking in youth, because with liberalization of education, what happens is they are concentrating on a knowledge enhancement mostly, rather than developing themselves as leaders with many attributes and orientations to be a leader. So this is what I feel what is lacking in youth today.
Finally, what do you have to say to budding undergraduates in order for them to improve their professional value and to build their corporate image?
Okay, so if you look at every individual is unique. Having said every individual is unique, but individual need to build their personal brand. Again, I'm saying every individual is unique, but every individual need to build their personal brand. And that brand, like any other product or whatever, need to have attributes. Now, product turning into a brand with certain attributes where consumers like to buy them. So like that, every individual should develop their attributes which are unique above the rest. So if you want to make a success in your corporate life, you need to start building your own brand. And that brand has to be unique among the rest. And when I say unique among the rest, you got to find out how can I be how can I be differentiating myself from other rest of the graduates or rest of the guys in the marketplace. Because guys are from different backgrounds, different as well as if you look at example, if you are qualifying in marketing, you'll have a lot of marketers. In finance, you'll have a lot of finance guys. From other subjects, you'll have a lot of guys. Now, when I graduated from Colombo University with a BSc degree, I had to carve myself. I had to carve a niche in the marketplace. So what did I do? Right? What did I do? So at that point in time, I had to do CIM, I had to do my MBA, as well as I was also doing a lot of sports in the university as well as school, and also to develop my brand as I'm cutting myself above the rest in terms of leadership. So I had many leadership positions in my resume before even moving into the corporate leadership. So the challenge is how do you carve a niche above the rest, right? With your knowledge base, with your character, with your charisma, with your personality, right? All these attributes put together, how can you carve a niche above the rest in the who is available in the job market? Because these are the guys who are graduating, or these are the people who are stepping into the society. And this is what I would like to say and conclude. Build your own brand, right? As if you are buying among the competitive set, you go and buy specific brand. So like that, you got to look at, hey, can I build my equity so that can somebody hire you with the expectation exactly meeting what is in your mind.
Thank you very much, sir, for joining with us. And what is your review on our program?
Let me also conclude by congratulating VIP Chamber of Colombo University. This is also very exciting thing for me because I was a product of Colombo University. So this is important that you interact with some of the corporate leaders and get their insights, and this is so important, whereby you can also have your aspirations, have your plans to reach certain things demanded by the corporate sector. So this kind of interactive learning sessions, interactive communication sessions, interactive activities would definitely help budding young professionals in Sri Lanka. So congratulations once again, and good luck for all your future endeavors.